You have stumbled upon the Terror at Collinwood YouTube channel, and I am your hostess, Penny Dreadful. Welcome to the second annual Bleak Sunday, a multi-channel team effort by YouTube creators to provide spooky content on the Sunday before Halloween. This effort was spearheaded by my friend Raymond Castile of Raymond Castile's Basement of Horror, and I want to thank him for inviting me to participate. This video features a look at my Dark Shadows collection. Since I was over at Seaview Terrace in Newport recently, I thought it'd be fun to intersperse some actual footage of Collinwood into the monstrous mix. And be sure to check out all of the other great Bleak Sunday videos. There are a whole bunch of channels participating with lots of creepy and kooky Halloween time content. See the links in the description. Now, let's get to it. Penny Dreadful here. I don't know if this is catching me. I'm here out in the sunshine, which is not my preferred environment, and I'm here outside of Collinwood with some fiends of mine. And in this episode, I will be showing you my Dark Shadows collection. But I thought it would be fun to start this out with Collinwood here, Seaview Terrace, out in Newport, Rhode Island. There we are. My camera's going a little fuzzy because of the supernatural aura surrounding Collinwood. Oh dear, what is that? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Just a note here, if you get motion sickness like I do, I want to warn you that my camera work in this video is not the best. It's a little shaky and there's a lot of movement. So if you can't handle too much of that, either watch this in doses or you might want to skip this one. Originally I had my entire classic monster collection, my classic horror collection in this Bleak Sunday video, but I ended up trimming it down to just the Dark Shadow stuff because it was just bouncing around too much, and just reviewing the video I was getting kind of sick. So I do apologize for that. Welcome to Bleak Sunday, and this afternoon or evening or whenever you happen to be watching this, you'll be taking a look at my Dark Shadows collection. Right now we're looking at the Dark Shadows wing of my monster room, and I'm going to show you all of the collectibles I have here, and then I have more Dark Shadows collectibles in the other room that I'm going to show you. But we'll start here with my framed Barnabas Collins print from the cover of Famous Monsters of Filmland 59, and it was signed by Basil Gogos. In fact, I got that print directly from the legendary Basil Gogos at Monster Bash, and it's a beautiful painting, and I'm thrilled to have this in my collection. There's the Barnabas cane, the infamous Barnabas cane, and that is the real deal. Well, it's not one used by Jonathan Frid, but it is made by the same company that made the ones they used in the show. So it's a silver wolf head cane. In case I'm attacked by Chris Jennings during the full moon, I can protect myself with the silver wolf head cane. So that is a really cool piece that I've had for many years in my collection. And then up here we have a variety of items. There's some classic monster magazines. Pardon me for the shaky camera, I apologize for that. This is Monsters of the Movies with a great cover. This is one of my favorite monster magazine covers with Barnabas and Van Helsing on the cover, Peter Cushing. There we have the MPC model kit from 1969 of the werewolf, the Chris Jennings werewolf, and I have a boxed complete one back there. And then I have a loose painted one in the front. And I did not paint that myself. I am not very good at that. So alas, it is not my work there. But I do have, that is a vintage one. It is not a reissue. There's the Talking Barnabas from MPI Home Video. And the Quentin figure from Majestic Studios, the 12-inch Quentin figure. And they released three. They had Quentin Collins and then two versions of Barnabas. There's the Snow Globe. Oh, and this is the beautiful Mark Maddox painting that was used on the lunchbox, on the Dark Shadows lunchbox. And Mark signed this beautiful piece of artwork of the terrible trio there of Barnabas, Quentin, and Angelique. And I love this painting. This was
a gift actually from my friend Rebecca, who directs Shilling Shockers, my horror host show. And we were at Monster Bash, and she picked that up for me from Mark, who was there. And I had chatted with him a bit, but I didn't realize she picked that up for me. So that was a really nice gift. There's the Majestic Studios Barnabas in his 1795 outfit. And I prefer this one to the other one that I have, the other modern clothes one, because that one is dressed in brown, and those who have listened to Terror at Collinwood probably know that I have, not only me, a lot of us have issues with the brown outfit for Barnabas. This one's in black, as he should be. There's the MPC Barnabas model kit from 1960s, and there's the boxed one in the back, and then I have a loose one in the front, and there's Barnabas's first appearance on the cover of Famous Monsters of Filmland. This is a repro of the original Western Publishing glow-in-the-dark Barnabas poster. This one does not glow in the dark. It's from Unlovely Frankenstein. Wallace McBride, he has prints of that, so I've always wanted that. So I don't have the original, but that is a reissue or a reproduction. There's a framed picture of the Terrible Trio back there, and then we have Monsters of the Movies magazine, another great cover with Christopher Lee Dracula, Barnabas, and Blackula on the cover. And then these are reproduction or movie posters. These are not the original ones from the 70s. I wish I had those, but these are repros or scans. I mean, they're good. They're nice posters, but they're not the original ones. And there's the Barnabas Vampire Van box. That's the original box from the 60s. The van is not inside. I do have a reissue of the van that in the other room, which you'll see. But that is the box, the original box. There's the Angelique bobblehead and the wonderful Viewmaster reel set, an iconic Dark Shadows collectible to be certain. And then we have the three Spectre Toys MC figures. I have the carded ones back there. I also have a loose set. Again, Barnabas in the brown outfit. I think Dr. Migo, Paul Clark, drew the comparison between him and Count Chocula. So who wore it best? And then, please, if they do Barnabas again, please, black clothes. There's Quentin bobblehead and Gold Key comic. And this merry-go-round is actually the one they used this toy in Dark Shadows to make the carousel in the playroom. Gerard's haunted carousel in the playroom was made using this, I think it's Chine is the name of the company that made this in the 60s and 70s. It's a tin carousel. And on the show, they added a little flag and a different base to the bottom, but it's the same one. And there's one of the puzzles. And this is the Moon Devil Studios Barnabas bust. Moon Devil Studios, John Dennett does some amazing busts of characters from film and television, usually all fantasy-based characters and, fantasy, horror, sci-fi. And I love the Barnabas he did. I also have a couple of others in my collection of non-Dark Shadows characters that you'll see. But there's the puzzle. One of the puzzles, I have both of them. Green border card there. The Quentin postcards, which are a very well-known Dark Shadows collectible. I have a sealed pack there. I also have a complete set in the other room. And there's the mother lode there. The centerpiece of the collection is, of course, the complete original series. I mean, it's just, I have the other DVDs, like the individual volumes, but this is such a great just display piece to have in the collection. There's some more bobbleheads, the Werewolf and Barnabas, and House and Night of Dark Shadows VHS tapes. Dr. Julia Hoffman trading card there. There's the other jigsaw puzzle, and I love the artwork on this jigsaw. I love both of them, but this is my favorite with the very feral, fierce-looking dog as Barnabas lurks, in the Eagle Hill Cemetery, presumably. And there's the reissue of the Barnabas ring that was put out by MPI. They put it out twice, and actually twice by MPI, but originally the original 60s one I don't have. I wish I did. I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with the MPI reissue. It's, it looks really good, and the difference is so subtle that I think the original one was a little more flat on the stone. There's a Terror Collinwood sticker, Barnabas sticker from Unlovely Frankenstein, done in the style of the Batman logo. And then down here we have a very iconic Dark Shadows item, which is the Dark Shadows Barnabas Collins game. And this is an incomplete one, but I have a complete one in the other room. And they're two different boxes too. This one doesn't have the little coffin design on the front when it says for ages 6 to 14. And the other one has like a little coffin shape. There's the Barnabas trading card that scared the heck out of me when I was a child. My uncle Valdemar gave me his old trading cards when I was a kid. And this was in the mid 70s, and I couldn't even look at that image. I would just peek at it, and it was just absolutely terrifying. So of course I have to have that on display. And there's the game, as I said. The other variation on the other game is that the side is like blue instead of gray. This one's gray on the side. Some buttons there, and there's the Josette bobblehead, and of course Josette's music box. This is the 1970 original issue Josette's music box, which I have in a little display case because it's very fragile, and I don't want it to break. And it still works too. It still plays Josette's theme when you wind it, which I very rarely do, but it does work. And there's another iconic item, which is the Dark Shadows album from 1969, the LP, and it does have the poster inside. I used to have all of the albums put out by Media Sound Records, all the LPs. They did volumes 2, 3, and 4, plus reissued the first one, but I ended up selling those and just kept the original. I have the CDs of those, so I can listen to them, but I just wanted the album itself, the original one, and maybe I'll get the other ones again someday. And then I have some Elope Dark Shadows fangs back there. And there's the original the original Dark Shadows game in the background from Whitman. So that is an incomplete one, but I do have a complete one in the other room. And then there are some Dark Shadows giant pinups, which are very printed on newsprint, so they can be very fragile as well. I have a couple loose ones of those. I'd like to get a complete set. And there are the Spectre figures. I'm big into figures. I would love to see an official Mego Barnabas, but with the black outfit instead of brown, and ideally with a new head sculpt as well. That would be great. There's Angelique and the werewolf. Yeah, these pinups, I know a lot of fans collect these, and I'd like to get a full set, but they're very difficult to display. I saw one fan uses like a art portfolio to keep them, and I think that's a great idea with the backing, because they're printed on this like very flimsy newsprint paper, and they're definitely very fragile. And then down there I have the Elope Barnabas wig, which is kind of ridiculous that I have that in my collection, but it is pretty cool. I'd like to. I don't have the cape and the cheapo cane that they made, but those go for a lot now. They're tough to get. There's the lunchbox, the wonderful Mark Maddox artwork, and I'm going to show you all the different sides of this amazing lunchbox. This is a great collectible, one of the better of the recent collectibles that they made, that MPI put out. This was definitely A+ as far as MPI goes and products that they put out. Because sometimes some of the products you can kind of get a little dull, but this one is incredible. I love it. It's the Eagle Hill Cemetery up there, and you get the old house down here with the full moon in the background. It's so beautiful. Mark is brilliant. I have to get Mark on the podcast at some point. I'd love to interview him. And then back there we have a Manayuk Monsters sticker. That was my friend Meredith put that on a magnet backing, so there it is. And then there's a Collinwood shot glass that was part of my goodie bag given to me by the delightful Helen Samaras, and I told her I was going to put it in my Dark Shadows collection, so there it is. I don't know if you're watching this, Helen, but there it is. Thank you. And then we have some figurines here. These are customs. These are not official items, but they're 3D printed figurines that are based on the artwork, which was done by my good friend Eric Marshall for Terror at Collinwood, the animated cartoon style artwork for Dark Shadows characters. Somebody made miniatures, and so the Josette's is adorable. The ghost of Josette, the veil comes off. Isn't that adorable? I love that. And so I contacted the seller, and he gave me a good deal. And Eric, I touched base with Eric, and he was cool with it. But he sent a bunch of to us. There's the Night of Dark Shadows bumper sticker from 1971. I had an extra bobblehead, and the head popped off, so I put it back there. And then this is also a custom. I have some custom stuff in my collection. That's Brent Stahl's. Did that Barnabas a while ago. He did a black and white one and a color one, so I have one of those. And then these are custom figures by Rex Barha, a customizer in the Philippines. And he did them kind of in a, I guess, Marvel Legends or DC Universe style. My favorite thing about these is definitely that gramophone. Quentin's gramophone is so cute. I love that. And actually, Quentin is probably, he's the best of the bunch here. That Rex did. And then we have a little bat hanging there and some Majestic Studios boxes for the figures. And then we have the model. This is the reissue of the Barnabas model with the alternate head on it. I did not paint that. Whoever painted it painted the cane gold, which I don't know why they did that. There's a pentagram. I used to have one that looked a lot more like the one in the show. The one in the show is a little bigger than this one. I'd like to get one that's a little bigger, but that's my placeholder pentagram. And then I have some great I Ching wands that I've had for many years. I got these like in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, and these were made by Jimmy Hutchinson, a well-known Dark Shadows fan who's used to sell these in the back pages of fanzines. I loved those I Ching wands. And then we have the, there we go, the Majestic Studios Barnabas and the Count Chocula costume. And Gold Key, the digest, one of the Marilyn Ross novels. This was sold by Sharon Smith Lentz at her table at a convention I was at, and I had to get a little Sarah London Bridge is Falling Down bag. I love this so much, it's great. And I thought I'd end things here with a look at my Dark Shadows paper collectibles. I have the giant Warren poster from the 60s. I had this framed quite a few years ago, but I've had this poster for decades at this point, and it is just enormous. It is an enormous poster, but it's a really cool one. I really don't like this room. Didn't really want to show much of this room. I call it my library, and it is, my bookcases and DVDs and stuff in there, but it's not the most well organized room. But there we go, with the reissue there from MPC of the Vampire Van, and that does have the kit in there. And then there's the complete Barnabas Collins board game. And as I mentioned earlier, you see the difference with a little coffin shape there on the box. And then the side is blue instead of gray. And then there's also the complete Dark Shadows game. It even has the 2 Barnabas Wallet photos in it. And I'll show you the Barnabas Collins game later so you can see that. That box contains all the bunch of Gold Key comics, Dynamite comics, Innovation comics for Dark Shadows. I'm missing a few single issues of the comics, but I do have the collections from Hermes Press. And then that great bumper sticker was made by the wonderful and delightful Guy Haynes. I picked that up the last time I was at Seaview Terrace. I do feel a little disingenuous about putting it on my car, though, because I sauntered to my grandmother's house after school to watch Dark Shadows in syndication in the 80s. So I don't know if I qualify to put that on my car. So I have it in my collection at least, because I do love that bumper sticker. If there's a sticker that says "I sauntered to my grandmother's house from school to watch Dark Shadows," maybe I could put that on my car. And there's a poster from the record album. I have a second one there. And then, as you can see, I have a ton of Dark Shadows books here. I'll just pan across so you can see them. Our Shadowed Past, Bob Issel's amazing book. And then tons of Dark Shadows tomes there from Pomegranate Press, and from Jeff Thompson's books, and the Dark Shadows file magazines that I ordered out of Monsterland magazine back in the 80s. Lots of fun stuff in there. Lara Parker's novels. And then, as I said, I have the Hermes Press collections of the newspaper strip, the digest, and all the Gold Key comics. And then I have all the Dan, Marilyn Ross books. I have a complete collection of those there. And I take up a couple of rows there. And I have some MPI tapes back there too. I think those are of the 91 series. And then a whole bunch of fanzines. World of Dark Shadows, Inside the Old House, etc. And then down here, this binder has a bunch of the Big Finish audio plays, and I took a lot of them out of the cases because they take up a lot of space, so I just put them in a binder. Not all of them, as you'll see, but I got a bunch of Big Finish audios in there, CDs, and then I got the model kit 2-pack reissue sealed over there, and then a bunch of books that aren't Dark Shadows specific, but I guess relevant to Dark Shadows. That stage makeup book does have Barnabas in it, actually. There's a CD of that classic Vern Langdon album. And then I have all the Dark Shadows DVDs and Blu-rays down here. And all the soundtracks, the music soundtracks. And then some more Big Finish audio CDs as well. And then down here, I have a whole bunch of the Dark Shadows concordances. that were done by Kathy Resch, and episode summaries, and then we've got the also Dark Shadows Festival books down here. And then here we have the bubblegum cards. I have a complete set of the gum cards. Got the pink border set. I don't know why they call them the red border set. I always see them refer over the years the red border set. It's hot pink. Look at it. It's hot pink. It's not red. I don't know why they call them red. The red set. And we have the green border set. And then the more recent orange border retro set, which I love. I think it was Imagine Inc. did those. They're very Halloweenish. I really like the orange border set. And then we have the color cards that were done a few years back as well with the frame. And then I have a complete set of the Quentin postcards here. They're all together in this like little page here, but those are all the Quentin postcards, and I have the little package back there too. There are some autographs in here. I do have a Barbara Steele. Michael Joyner got that for me, which was nice. 2 penny. Let's Cast a Spell, Barbara Steele. I love that. And Zachary. That's when I met Zachary. I have a few. I'm not like a huge autograph collector, but I do have some relevant autographs. Christopher Lee. I wrote to him, and I sent him a self-addressed stamped envelope, and a year later I got a picture he signed, sent it back to me in the mail. I sent him this picture, actually. He signed it for me, so that was exciting. There's Lara Parker, Angelique. Love and curses always to Penny Dreadful, Lara Parker, Angelique. Awesome. Catherine Lee Scott. There we go. Really cool. And Vincent Price. I did not meet Vincent Price, sadly. My friend Ivan got that for me as a gift. There's Jonathan Frid when I met him in Rhode Island when he was doing his one-man show. So there we go. There's the Sharon Smith, Sarah Collins, and then I have some like index cards with autographs and stuff. So I have a bunch. Yeah. So lots of fun. There's Larry Storch. I grabbed some of his cartoon images here. So lots of fun stuff in here. Oh, there we go. There's the cover of Cinefantastique. Oh, Witchy Poo. Billy Hayes. The late great Billy Hayes. There's the Dark Shadows checkbook cover. MPI just put Dark Shadows on everything and sold it. And you can see over here I have lots of magazines that are relevant to this collection. Magazines and fanzines as well. I'll just kind of flip through real quick so you can see some of what I got in there. There's the famous Monsters number 59. I just remember being so compelled by this when I was a kid in the 70s. My uncle gave me his issue with Barnabas on it. He gave me several of his famous monsters. I just remember staring at this and being transfixed by it, and then just flipping through and kind of, with some trepidation looking through it. It's just so great. Lots of classic monster magazines in here. There's afternoon TV. There we go. Tiger Beat. Famous monsters. They're all mixed up. There's no kind of order to this, alas. It's just kind of all in there. Scary monsters. Lots of different magazines in here. Can just keep pulling them out. You get the idea. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's a Dark Shadows Festival program. You see there's some fanzines down here as well. Shadows of the Night, Dan Silvio, great fanzine. Lots of fun stuff. MPI catalogs. I have all kinds of stuff in here. Here's a look at some of the comic books I have. And let's take a look at the Barnabas Collins Dark Shadows game. Let's look at the pieces inside. There are the fangs. I put them in a little baggie. But these are the actual fangs from the game. There are sellers on eBay who are trying to sell other sets of fangs that are not from the game, and they're claiming they are. You can see it's just the top fangs. That's what came in the game. So don't be fooled by people claiming other types of fangs came in that game. And just, you know, I love this game. It's so creative, like a little coffin with the bones in it, and this one is still sealed in the original package. You got the bones and the wooden stakes. It's such a fun classic Monster Kid Dark Shadows collectible.
Thank you for watching my entry into this year's Bleak Sunday, and be sure to check out all of the other Bleak Sunday videos, and have a happy Halloween.